Welcome back to the channel for another ESO build video. I'm Fuzzy Juggernaut. Today I'll be showing you my Gankplar for the Stonethorn patch. But first, before I get into the build, if you like this video or the content on this channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and push that notification bell to get the latest content from this channel. Now let's get into it. So this build's a lot of fun, and it isn't your average ganker. I wanted to play something that was a little bit different and unique. Something that like a lot of people weren't playing on. It's been a long time since I've been on my Gankplar, so although it's not what it used to be, it is still very viable. This is a single target build, packed with a lot of crit and really good damage. This build will be even stronger in the next patch also, so Stonethorn, which comes out next week. Overall, this build is a solo build, but it can be played in group. You can play it in CP or non-CP. It works in all environments. It's extremely fun. But I'll quit talking and we'll get into the build right now. So let's head on over and I'll see you there in a second. Alright, here we are. Let's get into the character sheet. So these are our stats. We are a Magicka Templar. Dark Elf is our race. I have 54 points into Magicka and 10 points into health. You can put all points into Magicka if you'd like. I just feel that the extra 10 points in health help me survive a little bit better, especially since we don't have stealth like the Nightblades do. And we're ganking, so it's opportune choices that we have to pick, and timing is everything, and survivability really depends on the situation that you get in when you gank somebody, if there's multiple opponents around, stuff like that. We are sitting at 31,500 maximum Magicka. We have 1167 Magicka recovery. It's not the highest, but it is manageable. We have 22,300 max health, 669 health recovery. We have 11,800 max stamina, and stamina recovery is at 566. Our spell damage is sitting at 2832. This is sort of misleading in the stats because we have two sets that are going to give us extra spell damage, so that's where a lot of it will be coming from. And then along with our spell pots and our weapon damage enchantments, and depending on if you take resources or keeps or any of that stuff and get the extra buffs, it pushes us up to 5,300 to 5,400 fully buffed up. So altogether we'll be sitting at 5,400 fully buffed up. And you can also actually reach 6k spell damage if you want by putting Simmering Frenzy on one of your skills. But I don't run that just because it makes us too squishy and we'll die too easy. It's completely up to you. I'll get into that in a little bit. We're sitting at 60.4% spell crit. Spell resistance, we're sitting at almost 14k. Physical, we're sitting at 10. Critical resistance, we're sitting at 2194. We're running all divines on this build, so that's why we're so squishy. 6 light, 1 heavy. Let's buff up real quick so we can see the resistances. So sitting inside of it, we're sitting at 21,800 spell resistance and 17,990 physical resistance. Like I said, it's not super high. It's manageable, so it gives you some leeway to play with when you're out in the open. Standing outside of the ruin though, we're sitting at 19,000 and 15,000. For our food, we're going to be using Clockwork Citrus Fillet. This is going to give us a nice stat pool in all 4 lines that we need it. So we need the max health recovery, max Magicka recovery. You can use Bewitched Sugar Skulls if you'd like, or Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Witch Mother's Potent Brew would be a really cheap option, so go ahead and go that way if you don't have the money or the resources to craft this food. It's completely up to you. You can use any of those 3 though, they all work. For our Mundus, we're using the Thief. I tried the Shadow, the Apprentice, and the Lover. All of them work great, but the Thief just outdoes them all. I did this on target dummies and players in Cyrodiil fighting. I tested it all out for quite a while. Literally, the Thief outdoes them all. The reason being is that because without the Thief, we're sitting only at 50 to 52% critical hit chance. And so I found that a lot of my abilities weren't critting a lot of the time, even though we were at 50%. And the Shadow, although it was nice to get that crit damage when it did crit, overall, the Thief putting at 60% allowed us to crit a lot more with all of our abilities, so our consistent critical hit chance was just continuously hitting and allowing for damage. Even though the damage was a little bit lower than you would have with the Shadow, it consistently outdid all of them, but you can use any of those you want. I personally went with the Thief for this. You're welcome to use what you would like. We are a vampire on this build. I'm a stage 1 vampire. You can go stage 2 if you'd like. The increase in the cost abilities wasn't worth the extra spell damage that I got, in my opinion, just for a lot of the fighting situations I was in. But if you want to go with stage 2, you're more than welcome to, and I'm sure that it can be viable for some people out there. Like I said, it's completely up to you. Do what you'd like. This is just a template. Now let's go to our inventory. So we're running spell pots. This is going to give us major sorcery, which you need. These are very important. You want to run these. You don't have to run the specific one. This one also grants major prophecy, which we don't need because we have inner light on our front bar. So don't worry about that part. Just make sure you get the major sorcery from the pots. For our first set, and on our front bar is going to be Inferno Staff of Soulshine. We have a weapon damage enchantment on here, and I have Nirnhone rolled on there. Preferably you'd like Sharpen to be on there, especially for next patch that's coming next week. But I haven't re-rolled it yet. You can go with Sharpened. This gives us max magicka, spell crit, spell damage, and then adds 440 spell damage to your cast time and channeled abilities. That's why it doesn't show up on our stat sheet. The stat sheet is very misleading. This build hits really hard. So trust me, it's not going to look like it's there, but it is there. You can actually run dual wield on here too. I used to do that, but now I don't because I tested both out and the staff does overall more damage than these do. Reason being is that the staff gets 8% increased single target damage, and these get 6% increased damage overall. So you get 2% more damage from the staff. Even though you can run Nirnhone and Sharpen on these, or Sharpen and Infuse, whatever you'd want, you can run these. It does work well, but you get better results from the staff because with the staff you can also throw in light attacks. And personally, I overall felt that the staff actually did a lot more damage. Not only that, I saw it in the numbers. So either way, it's up to you guys. You can run dual wield or the staff. It's completely your choice. You can run poisons also if you'd like. I haven't ran any poisons on here yet. For our back bar, we're going to be running Restoration Staff of Soulshine. It's a magic damage enchantment that restores health. It's infused. You can run preferably Nirnhone or Powered on here to get increased healing. I can't find my golded out Resto Staff of Soulshine, so run whatever you'd like back here with whatever enchantment you want. Just make sure it's Soulshine Resto Staff. Our monster set, we're going to be running a Slimecraw. We have a Max Magicka enchantment on here, infused. Preferably you'd want Divines. This monster set is really awesome, actually. It gives us spell critical, which is going to put us to that 60% crit mark, and allows our abilities to proc more often with crits, in turn giving us more damage, and it works really well, especially giving us Minor Berserk at all times, which increases our damage by 8%. Stack that with the Destruction Staff of the 8% to single targets, that's 16%. It's honestly really awesome, and it boosts our damage really, really high. Our next set is going to be War Maidens. We want Divines and Magicka on everything. This set is really good. It's going to be even more viable in the next patch because instead of 396 spell damage, it's going to give us 600 spell damage. So we will be hitting even harder in the next patch, and since these are all single target abilities, it won't matter about the AoE thing that's coming. This set gives us spell critical, max magicka, max spell damage, and adds 396 spell damage to your magic damage abilities, which all of our abilities do magic damage, which is nice. And it's not on the stat sheet, so both the 5th items on both sets aren't on our stat sheet, so that's why I was saying just sort of ignore the stat sheet for the spell damage because your spell damage is there. Then we have the shoulders, Divines, Max Magicka of Slimecraw, then waist of War Maidens, the hands of War Maidens, all Divines, Max Magicka, legs, Max Magicka, Divines of War Maiden, and then Soulshine boots. Preferably you'd want to run War Maiden boots and put a Soulshine chest piece on with Divines. I just didn't have either one of those at the time when I golded all this out and did it. So the chest piece will give you a lot more armor. For those of the people that will comment on this page and be like, oh, why are you running boots and not chest piece or something else, blah, 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 and all that stuff because they skimmed through the video and didn't listen to this section. I'm just stating it right here and I won't be responding to those people, but it's all good. Then we have War Maiden's necklace infused. All of our jewelry is going to be infused. And we have 2 Soulshine rings right here. So all of them are infused and all spell damage. We're going for max damage possible on this build. Now we'll go into the skills. Our first ability on our front bar is going to be Aurora Javelin. This knocks them back, does really good damage, and ignores the resistances. Our second ability is going to be Elemental Drain. Now this is a flex spot, so you can actually put Vampire's Bane if you wanted to for more damage and damage over time. Purifying Light, you You can use this one right here. This is going to pull you out of stealth before you use your dark flare and all that stuff, but it will increase the damage up to 18,911. Completely up to you. Or you can go for, where is it? Simmering Frenzy, increase your damage by 630. The problem with this, though, that I found is that you're pretty much can get one tap by like anyone in Cyrodiil, so you have to make sure you use this very, very wisely. Like on top of a keep wall defending or something, like where you can back off and not get tapped, but I mean, it makes you so squishy, you lose so much health, so just be careful if you run it, but this ability will push you up to 6,000 spell damage on this build. Then for our next one's Inner Light. This is going to give us our Major Prophecy and increase our Magicka by 5%, which is really nice. Then we're going to go to Dark Flare. Dark Flare actually hits a lot harder than this. This tooltip is inaccurate because it doesn't calculate on the stat sheet right now for the extra spell damages that we have, and we're not fully buffed up. But this also not only hits hard, it puts Major Defile on them, so it reduces their healing and their health recovery by 38%. And grants Major Empower, which increases your light attacks by 40% for 5 seconds, which is really nice. Then our next ability is going to be Radiant Oppression. This does quite a bit of damage, over 1.8 seconds, and it does 480% more damage. Pretty much it goes up to like 50 or 60k, plus it does 20% more damage in proportion to your max magicka too. So this does a lot of damage. This is our execute. If you can't kill them with this and it runs out and they're still alive, you can use Soul Assault, which is our ultimate ability on the front bar, and this hits really hard too. This is at 81,928, which is really nice, and actually, like I said, we're not fully buffed up, so this actually goes even higher. I think it goes to like 90 something, 97k or so, I can't remember, but it goes pretty high, and this absolutely annihilates people. Now for our back bar, we're running Channel Focus on here. This is just our Major Resolve buffs right here, and then standing in it gives us 50% increased resistances and then some magic back, but you're not going to probably be standing in this. You're just going to throw this down and while you're stealthing, just to give you increased resistances, especially once you hit your targets and you're in the open. Then our next ability is going to be Extended Ritual. This is just to cleanse ourselves and cleanse anyone that's around us. And then it also gives us healing while we're in the circle too for 24 seconds every 2 seconds. Then Honor the Dead is our main heal. This heal actually works pretty well. I can heal myself fully up with one heal almost, not having anything into the champion points for it either. So it's up to you if you want to put points in there or not, but we're going for max damage. This is just a really good heal. I recommend using this one. Channel Acceleration. This is going to give us our Major Force and our Major Expedition for 12 seconds and 36 seconds. So this is our critical hit damage. It helps boost that, and it allows us to run faster while we're in stealth and out of stealth, so it works for both. Then we have Elusive Mist. This is pretty much to get out of sticky situations, or if we're getting bogged down by a bunch of people when we're pulled out of stealth or out of stealth after we kill somebody. This just allows you to get away pretty quick. It's really nice. It can save your ass quite a bit, so I recommend using this, especially since we're vampire. Then Undo, you'd want the morph that gives you actually 8% damage mitigation. I don't have it morphed yet, but once I get it up there, then I'll morph it to that. It will be nice on the back bar. I just have it on here so that I can level it up. That's it for our skills. Now we'll go to the champion points. So our champion points, these you can do however you feel or you see fit and to your playstyle. Not everyone's the same. This is just how I have them set up. I have 40 into Warlord, 13 into Sprinter, 43 into Mooncalf, 64 into Arcanist, 59 into Befoul. This is for our Major Defile that we get from our Dark Flare. Shade to help with our stealth, which is 31 into there. 20 into Tumbling, just so when we're out in the open we can tumble and roll dodge and get the hell out of the way of some stuff. Then we have 66 into Elfborn. I have none into Blessed. Our healing's actually really good, but you can put some into here if you want. We're going for max damage on this, so I suggest actually for the blue tree doing as much damage as you can, so putting the points into here. But 66 into Elfborn, 64 into Elemental Expert, 51 into Spell Erosion, 8 into Staff Expert, 81 into Master at Arms, and then we have none into this last one. We have 61 into Ironclad, 30 into Resistance, 10 into Light Armor Focus. You can take these out and put them wherever you want if you want. It's completely up to you. 48 into Thick Skin, Elemental Defender 49, Hardy 49, and then 23 into Quick Recovery. Like I said in the beginning of this video, it is a lot of fun to play. It does take some time and effort and skill. It's not for everybody, but if you put in the practice and the time with it, you should be good. Don't get discouraged in the beginning if you die a lot. It takes a while to get it down and the survivability of it, but ultimately it is a really fun build. I hope you all enjoy the build. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments section, or if you have any questions or concerns or anything, just let me know and I'll try to answer everyone. I appreciate everyone checking out the build video, and I hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one.